Hey guys, I'm Brad and this is Brad Plays Everything. Welcome back to the channel. I want to go over something that's been bugging me a little bit over the past few days to a week or so, and that is my Razer Raiju controller. This was once my pride and joy in my PS4 cabinet. Now not so much. This is the third Razer Raiju I've owned. So I'm going to go over why this is a do not buy for you guys. I'll just cover the features that are involved. It is a great feeling controller. Micro switches on the buttons there, very switchy and very clicky, very nice. Micro switch here, micro switch there, micro switch there. That feels very good, tactile. These have trigger stops on at the moment. You can turn them off pretty easily. Oh, we'll just turn one off. That's full trigger. That's trigger stop. They feel fantastic. You can map them to have a shorter throw on a trigger. You can also map these extra buttons there to be whatever you want. They're pretty good. The only complaints I've ever really seen online is these wiggle a little bit. But you can take them off if you don't use them as well. It is a wide controller, so it feels very, very... there's no input lag. It feels great when you're playing online. Now, as I said before, this is the third Razer Raiju I've actually had. I've not bought three. I've traded. I've swapped it over. I've returned it due to faultiness. Now, the first fault that I actually had with the Razer Raiju was to do with the stick clicking. So when you turn it around, it would get a bit clicky in a certain spot. It would feel like there's a spring or something that's loose and just clicking against your thumb. It didn't feel very nice at all, and it would lead to some funny feelings during gaming. So you never get that with a DualShock 4. Now, I returned that around about 3 months ago. And then I basically just returned this unit. They kept me with the same cable that I had. From there, I just need to stop this noise behind me. I can't do this with this noise behind me. When I went to replace it, they were really good about it. They basically just swapped over the unit. They left me with the cable and everything that I had. But I had a new controller that didn't have a clicky stick, so it was fantastic. I can't complain. JB Hi-Fi specifically, a good retailer to do that sort of stuff. Now, after another few months, basically 2 weeks ago, I started noticing that it would disconnect. I plugged it in, like so. If I did move it like that while I was playing, it would disconnect. Now, that's kind of annoying, because when you are playing games, you do move around a little bit. You don't just sit static. You know, especially if you're playing a rough game, you might actually move your hands around when you're controlling, etc., etc. So, I found that to be completely unusable. I took it back and I said basically, I think there's something wrong with the controller, with the cable. It does have those little clips on a micro USB. One of them was bent down. I figured that was probably the main cause of it. So I returned this unit on Friday last week. It's now Monday. I've had a good thrash over the weekend, done a lot of streams. I've noticed since that it's disconnected a bunch of times. Now, when you look at the cable that I've got, you see a bunch of kinks in it. That's how these cables are shipped. These cables are shipped wrapped up and tightened up. Now, if you keep going along, you see this kink here and this kink here. Now, does that look like a good cable kink to you? You can even see the threading, the braiding on the edge of the cable has been, even on my crappy camera, you can see that that's been compromised as such. And that's by the way it's been packed and shipped. Got nothing to do with the user at the end. And that's the end of it. So, in the middle there's two kinks. Over weekend, this is cut out multiple times. That's a square kink in a cable. That should not be happening. No electronics should be shipped with a cable that is that kinked. Okay, especially a braided cable that's quite thick and tough. You're gonna end up compromising that. So that's the first issue I had over the weekend. The second issue I had was in fact the first issue I ever had with a Razer controller, and that is that right there in that spot. That's pretty much unbearable to play with. I don't know if you guys know what I feel like, or if anyone that has a Razer Raiju has ever felt this. It's not acceptable for a 230 Australian dollar piece of kit to have that kind of infidelity in it within a few days. It's I didn't notice it the first night, but I specifically noticed it on the weekend straight away. This stays in my Razer Raiju case tucked away as soon as I stopped playing with it. I put my little stoppers on the end of the cable, and I packed that away as well. I've done nothing but look after this thing, and this is the third one and the last one that I own. Tomorrow morning I'm going back to JB Hi-Fi and I'm going to replace this for a Nikon Revolution controller. I believe that's the only other wired no input lag controller for the PS4 that's available at the moment. It's unfortunate because I don't like the offset sticks, and I did like the design of the Razer Raiju. I can't stand the build quality, especially with $230. I could have bought 2.5 DualShock 4s for that. Oh, potentially, no, I could have bought 3. They're about $80 at the moment, so yeah, I could have almost bought 3 DualShock 4s for the price of this and had none of these issues. So guys, if you are thinking about buying a Razer Raiju controller, be very, very careful what you wish for. It's a good looking kit, but just another piece of crap from Razer. And Razer, if you do end up watching this, I'm going to tweet it to you guys. What are you doing? Is this the build quality? Is this what you're doing? Is it manufacturing flaw? Is it the first run? What is it? Because this is not acceptable. You tout this as a pro gamer sort of piece of kit. Nothing close, guys. Look, guys, thanks for watching. I'm sorry there hasn't been a review for the past week. I had my wife's birthday last week. Kids are going nuts. I'll get a couple of reviews on this week, and then we'll go from there. I've got a couple of highlight videos to go as well over the past sort of couple of weeks of gaming. And thanks very much for joining the channel and liking and subscribing and checking out these vids. I really appreciate it. I've been having a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see you guys again around the streams. And comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Cheers, guys.